YouTube, welcome back. We are on episode 8 of the Final Whistle podcast. You have me on the top right, Mike, one of your hosts. On my left, we have Terrence, and on the bottom, we have Simon. Chris will be in late. Drew is out sick today. But we're going to start off continuing from our conversation from last week about awards, starting off with who should be MVP. Me personally, I'm kind of leaning towards like Stafford, but I know it's a close race between Stafford and May.
Yeah, I got.
Go ahead, Sam. No, you good.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I gotta say Drake May, bro. Just because he hasn't had those games where he's had multiple turnovers, like 4+ turnovers in a game, and lost the game for him. Like, I feel like overall he's been more consistent in the season.
I get where you're coming from. I would personally say Stafford too. My only thing, because I do feel you on that. Like, I feel like Stafford made it. He could have ran away with the award basically if it wasn't for those games. But my only thing with Drake May is strength of schedule, bro. Real talk, because it's not even to his own fault. You can only play who's in front of you. But like, you got the Jets in your division. You have the Dolphins in your division, whereas when you look at Matt Stafford's division, you have two other teams that made the playoffs, including the number 1 seed in the NFC. Like, he had to play a way tougher schedule, and he still like held his own. Not just that, and I know this shouldn't be like a legitimate metric, but man, I feel like he just it's a legacy thing. Honestly, I feel like he deserves it a little bit more too. Like, he's played well enough this season where he's earned the award, but given the fact that Matthew Stafford is a 17-year vet, something like that, versus Drake May, who's in his second year starting, that's why I think he'll end up getting it. I don't think that should be a legitimate reason, but I think it will play a part in him getting the award.
Okay. So let's say you kind of make it. Who do you like? Who was your MVP? Is that
my MVP?
Yeah, like, is that how we're doing it, or are we doing like who do you think gets it? How are we doing it?
I think I got Stafford as my MVP.
Okay.
Like, I earned it, but I think he'll also win it. Like, if that makes sense.
I mean, for me, I honestly think May should get it over Stafford, but I'm more confident that Stafford is going to get it over May. But I will say you can like make the argument. Look at Stafford's receivers versus May receivers. Stafford had like 2 Pro Bowl, All-Pro receivers to throw to, while Drake May only has really Stephon Diggs all season.
I guess that's fine. Matt Stafford also led the league in yards and stuff like that. And I mean, if we're keeping it a bean, that's never been held against a quarterback when they had an MVP season. Because I mean, when you talk about Mahomes, he had Kelsey and Travis and Tyreek Hill when he won his first MVP. And the biggest reason he won is because he threw 50 touchdowns. Matt Stafford had 46, something like that.
All right, you do bring up a good point on that. Like, past MVPs have not been, but I feel like you do have to take that into account. The fact that Drake May really doesn't have much weapons around him, and he's still balling.
It's kind of like the main thing.
A lot of things.
It's kind of like the main thing you would have to look at between these 2 quarterbacks is like, say you would like take out both of these QBs off of their teams and look at the team like just without those 2 QBs and ask yourself like which team would perform better, the Patriots without Drake May or the Rams without Matthew Stafford.
Well, first off, they're both going to do terrible because either one of them is a significant drop off in talent. So I feel like we can't even like look at it from that standpoint because you got to like Matthew Stafford. This is one point where it's like, yeah, like T got a really good point. Almost makes me want to like change my pick. Is the fact that Matthew Stafford's in the 17th season. This is like, we don't see many quarterbacks this old still playing at an MVP caliber level. So that like really like makes a lot. But he's been in the league for 17 years. His knowledge alone is gonna like, that's a significant drop off. Whereas Drake May, his talent level and knowledge too, he doesn't have as much knowledge, but his talent level makes up for the knowledge he doesn't have fully yet. it's like it's a big difference for either team
Not
to
just
lose one of those.
not just that, but bro, I don't know if y'all remember, but we didn't even know if Matt Stafford ass was gonna play this
Facts.
year.
Nah, I was gonna
Before
say
the
that too.
season before the season started, they was talking about his back injury. And then like I think of it from a consistency standpoint, like I know someone brought up the last few games for Matthew Stafford, so he didn't end the year well. But if you go back and look, Drake May didn't necessarily start the year off well either. He kind of came on later in the season. Like early on, they got a loss to the Raiders, and like that's not a good loss. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like, so
I'm giving Matthew Stafford like this too. Like Luka and Adams were kind of in and out of the lineup throughout the year, especially the latter part of it.
most definitely.
Concussions, like injuries. So, and that's really when you notice Stafford doing bad. Like those games, like he only had one game where I think they were both in the game and he did bad. Like other than that, most of his games he did bad in. He was missing at least one of both of them.
I will.
My biggest. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna also say like I will also give it more Stafford just because like strength of schedule. He played, in my opinion, more tougher opponents compared to what Drake May had played. Because realistically, the only good team that Drake May faced was maybe the Bills.
And their defense isn't even that great. Like it's a divisional opponent, so it's tough. But like that combined with the fact that if you look at the major statistics, he had a tougher schedule, but still threw more yards and had more touchdowns. Like that is kind of why I think Stafford should get.
All right. I think I may be convinced a little bit enough to switch over to Stafford.
I think, like I said, if you cut off the season at week like 14, 15, it wouldn't even really be that
Stafford
great.
100% would have won.
The only reason it even got this close is because of those last few games. Mind you, Devontae did not play, and Stafford went up. He got a little pick happy, so like you can't be turning the
But I
ball
will say
over
this:
that close.
isn't that when you need your MVP to be playing like an MVP though? Shouldn't that be when like an MVP should be playing at their best?
But if you think about it, like one of those losses were to the Seahawks, and Matt Stafford led a touchdown drive. You know what I'm saying? In overtime, like the last time he had the ball in that game, they scored, and it's not on him that you know what I'm saying. Like the defense gives up the touchdown and 2 point and all of that stuff. So like I feel like even in spite of his interceptions and turnovers, he's still been good enough to keep his team in all of these games, including the last playoff game.
Yeah, and what like the Seahawks are like the number one team in the NFC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you got to play them twice a year, and then you got to play San Fran twice a year. Like that. That's a tougher road than playing the Jets twice a year and the Dolphins. Two teams where one of them just fired their head coach, and the other one we don't even know who their quarterback is going to be. And like I give Drake May credit, I don't want to discredit his season, so I want to give him his flowers too. Like Drake May had an incredible season, but if I had to pick between the two, I would go with Stafford.
I guess the only thing, and this doesn't like have any relevance to like MVP at all, but I guess this is kind of what's kind of blocking me from like fully just going over is the fact that if you like swapped which team each quarterback was on. So if Stafford was with the Patriots and Drake May was with the Rams, Drake May would still be an MVP candidate and Stafford would not right now. And that's kind of like one thing that's kind of holding me up because I really like what weapons does Stafford have to throw to on the Patriots?
I would argue that just a little bit. Because we're saying Matt Stafford put up numbers with less than what Drake May has right now.
Yeah, Matt Stafford has. With those Detroit teams, I remember like after Calvin Johnson retired, I think his number one target was like Golden Tate for a few years.
But we're talking about old Stafford, like young Stafford. I mean, this is like I'm talking about now Stafford. Like Stafford right now almost kind of reminds me of Aaron Rodgers in a sense, but not as bad as Aaron Rodgers. Like he needs good weapons around him, and he's going to be that good veteran gunslinging quarterback it's going to make the right play and get the ball out to the receivers and let them make plays. But he can push the ball downfield still a lot better than what Rodgers can right now. I mean, he's still a little mobile and can take hits better than Rodgers. but he needs a good team around him. Whereas like he can't be on a team that like the Patriots that doesn't have as much talent and still
I
beat
don't know
them.
about that one because I think he could. Like we would never know, to be honest. Like, and if you did that scenario, a big aspect that you would have to take into account is coaching. And I know that that doesn't really play in Matt Stafford's favor in this side of the argument, but it would make a difference when you have Sean McVay as your coach. You're gonna win games. Like, but in that same sense, it is Mike Vrabel who is up for Coach of the Year. And I think that plays a big part
That's what I'm
to
saying.
Drake May as well. So like I'm saying like they both have great coaches. So if you switch them, I think Matt Stafford would still be in a good enough situation where he could have like produced.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Like Patriots would probably be with the strength of schedule. Patriots would probably be in the same position as they are now, maybe a little bit better.
I feel like they would probably have won more games. Like they probably would, if with Stafford, I feel like they probably would have they probably would have swept the Bills. They probably wouldn't have lost to the Raiders. Well, then again, I say probably swept the Bills. I mean, with the Bills, they are now. I mean, it's like 50-50
You're talking about
with them.
sweeping Josh Allen? We're saying that they would have swept Josh Allen. Like, you don't think Josh Allen became Superman in one of those games?
I said maybe, and then I retracted my statement because I gotta remember it's also Josh Allen who's like single-handedly carrying the Buffalo Bills on his back right now.
As an aside, since we talking about MVP and we keeping it a buck, he kind of should be. I get why he's not. Let me throw that in there first. But if you use Mike's metric of like taking somebody off of a team and watching where they go, if you do that, I think
that Buffalo's not even like they're not even making playoffs. They're probably like top 5 pick.
Josh Allen would be the MVP in that situation. But going based off of the metrics and like the better numbers and who we know the favorites would be, the reality is it comes down to Stafford and Drake May. I think, like I said, I think politics does come into this conversation just a little bit. It's one of those legacy things. It's a thing that Matt Stafford can add to his belt. And I think he's earned that. Like, he's played well enough to earn the award based off of that metric, like, just as his player. But knowing that he's been here this long, put this much work in, he's a Super Bowl champion, I think he wins the award off of that.
Yeah, and going off like that metric, if you pull like both QBs from the teams, I mean, realistically, yeah, both teams are going to be like in a bad spot. Especially like for me, I would say more so the Rams would be in the worst spot just because the strength of how that schedule was without Stafford. And I feel like we're going with that metric just because like the strength of the schedule has more in the play than what the Patriots had.
I think a lot is still to be found out about Drake May too. Respectfully, he's played great, but like I said, that strength of schedule, man, we haven't really seen him tested. We saw Matt Stafford tested quite a bit this season. We haven't really seen him. I think the Buffalo games are the only time that he was really pushed to the brink like that. So like, it's a lot still to be seen as far as like how he would respond in certain situations. Like, we're gonna find out a lot about Drake May this weekend. But certain questions that you wouldn't ask about Matt Stafford.
No spoiler, I definitely think Patriots lose in the next round, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I would love to see Stafford win an MVP. I'm a Stafford fan, so I'd like to see him win an MVP, especially this late in his career. That would be pretty dope. He's already a Hall of Famer, but it would just be pretty dope.
I would say he definitely deserves it, just because, I mean, he definitely deserved that Super Bowl based off everything he did in Detroit. And again, going with the MVP, definitely deserves it. Because look what he went through in Detroit. Like, Detroit never built around him until they traded him. They didn't really start building the team until Stafford was gone.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like wild because like Stafford was supposed to be the guy in Detroit, and then they're like, you know what? We're just gonna get rid of you.
Didn't they get some first round picks? Didn't they get first round picks with that? So they were kind of able to like rebuild easier.
I think they got either 1 or 2 first round picks. I want to say maybe it was like a first and a second in Stafford, and then they got Golf, and I know they got some other picks too. But it was like some mid or late round picks in that trade, but I mean, regardless. both teams equally got better.
I would have loved to see
Oh, yeah.
Stafford with Detroit now, with like Amara St. Brown and Jamison Williams and Jameer Gibbs. That shit would have been crazy to see.
That man,
Dude,
Stafford.
speaking of Jameer Gibbs, I think they got Jameer Gibbs with one of those first round picks that they got in
I think you're right about that.
Stafford.
Yeah, they got him with one. I think one of those first round picks was Gibbs, and I think another pick was Jack Campbell. I could be wrong.
I think it's gonna be a close race. Didn't they make Stafford the All-Pro quarterback though?
Yes, I think Stafford's.
I don't know.
I think he's got an All Pro under his belt. He's either got one or two.
I think he was first team All-Pro. And so
I think this year he was first team.
And aside from last year, when Lamar Jackson was All-Pro and Josh Allen won the MVP, I don't think that's ever happened aside from last year. So if that's any indication of who will probably end up getting the award, I think that kind of shows Matt Stafford might get it. But who knows? Because I'm saying that, and literally just last year, it wasn't the case. So, and let me also say this, kind of going back to giving Drake May his flowers. If Drake May wins, I won't be upset. Like, he's earned that as well.
I feel like this is a bigger question. Do you think there was like they would ever give like MVP and Offensive Player of the Year to like players on the same team? Because Puka is up for Offensive Player of the Year.
It depends.
I feel
Like,
like it would happen. I mean, it's not like it's not really similar to like what I'm bringing up with like the Saints like rookie draft class, where like Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore both won Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year.
But
I just don't really know.
To answer your question, Simon, I think it's actually happened before because I'm pretty sure when the Patriots went undefeated and lost to the Giants, I'm pretty sure Brady won MVP and Randy Moss got Offensive Player of the Year that year because they both broke records.
Okay, so since we're talking about this, do you think it happens again?
No,
No.
Y'all including like everybody's mostly thinking Stafford for MVP right now.
Stafford for
So,
MVP. JSN's definitely running away with.
No. JSN gets that though.
And I do see. Okay, when Puka was out though, that Rams offense did not look the same at all, bro. Like
I agree with
it
you.
kind of makes me wonder. Like we consider the Rams Super Bowl contenders right now, but without Puka, I really don't consider the Rams Super Bowl contenders.
I mean, without JSN, going with that same metric,
agree.
without JSN, I mean, the Seahawks offense is one-dimensional.
But no, I agree with you, Simon. But the first part of what you said is why he doesn't get it. When Puka was out, JSN, I don't think really missed any time this year. Like, and so when it comes to stuff like that, the best ability and availability does play a part, especially when you consider the fact that JSN led the league here in like receiving yards. It's kind of hard to justify giving that to Puka over him. As great as Puka is, I think Puka is better than JSN. I think Puka is the best receiver in the league, but you can't.
Yeah.
You got to look at the totality of the season, and so like there was a time in the season where JSN was on pace to break the receiver record and shit like that. Like
it was that Minnesota game that threw him off because Minnesota had started Max Brosmer, and then that Seahawks defense just tore him apart. So it was like, yeah, we need to play our starters.
And then everything you say about Puka, as far as it pertains to the Rams, you could really damn near say the exact same thing with JSN as it pertains to the Seahawks, because he's a huge part of what they do over there.
Would you consider like JSN as clutch as Puka? Like, who do you think's made more clutch plays over the year?
That's a tough conversation because clutch and it requires you to be in a certain position in the game. I do
like,
think that
conversions, touchdowns, like red zone, stuff like that, like highlight catches. Like, how did he catch that? Like, that's a clutch play type of thing. Like, it was a bad ball.
As far as this season goes, because that's what the award would be, I think they're like right neck and neck. Like, the same way that Matt Stafford relied on Puka, that was the same thing that Sam Darnold did for JSN when it really came down to it.
I would still probably lean more towards JSN, just because, like, once, say, both teams are in the red zone, I know Stafford kind of looked more Devontae's way once they got to the red zone, while when the Seahawks got to the goal line, the red zone, it's more of like JSN or like Zach Charbonnet or definitely Zach Charbonnet. They barely fed Kenneth Walker the ball.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you have a Devontae with Puka, it kind of hurts him in those situations because, just from a schematic standpoint, you do have to look at Devontae too. Whereas like defenses were able to key in on JSN just a little bit more, and he still produced to the same level that Puka did. It's kind of a similar situation because they're both great. And if you ask me who's the better receiver, it's Puka. But if you ask me who had the better season, it's JSN.
You also kind of like looking at that Seahawks.
Great salesman, bro.
I was gonna say you're kind of looking at that Rams team too. Even though like Devontae Adams is kind of like at the back end of that career, he's definitely still like a low end wide receiver one, while Puka's like a bona fide receiver one. Kind of like the same thing with like Cincinnati. Like Jamar Chase is your bona fide wide receiver one, but T Higgins could also be like a low to mid end wide receiver one on most teams too.
Yeah. All right, T. I think you should be you could be a really good salesman, dude. You got me sold on this, man.
Brother, for a year I was. What you mean? What you think I was doing in Enterprise? I was selling damage waiver and shit to people, bro.
Well, no, you also used to be selling snacks at school, bro.
All of that shit. Oh yeah, man. But no, I genuinely believe that though, bro. It's just like you really gotta compartmentalize shit, and when it gets to that point, you really just splitting hairs, real talk. Because everything you're saying is absolutely true. Like I don't disagree with your points. It's just that when it comes, I know how the voters typically look and just isolate it to this season. And it's also a bit of a politic and a narrative award, and just the way they're recovering it, you kind of get the vibe that JSN is probably going to get that. And at first, it looked like Jonathan Taylor was going to run away with that award. When we saw that, and so but if you go back to the beginning of the season, it was like a Jonathan Taylor, JSN, and when Jonathan Taylor fell off, JSN continued to do his thing, and he never fell off. Puka. That was great all season, but he turned it up towards the end. I kind of see it the same way I see Matt Stafford and Drake May in a sense, because it's not that one was necessarily better than the other, but they were good more consistently than the other, and that's going to take account into how they vote.
Hey T, if I ever have to go to court, will you represent me?
I got you, brother. Put me on retainer, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. So, you got me sold on that. I'm thinking. Hey,
we got Chris.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris. So right now we're talking about who should get Offensive Player of the Year. JSN Puka.
Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
NFL or college?
NFL.
No, NFL.
NFL.
Jason or Puka?
Whoever you think, because it could be somebody else.
I say Puka. Cause I ain't gonna lie, he has been balling. He has been balling out. He has been balling out.
He had,
but I'm deciding with Jason. Chris, I needed you a second ago. Bro.
No.
They already sold me JSN. I'm bought in on that. I'm on that wagon.
Hey, T, who you said deserves it?
JSN.
I said JSN because he's been more consistent all season, and he led the league in receiving yards. So how you gonna put Puka over him?
I say this, he has, but all right. So you said all right. So how consistent would you? How consistent did you say that? How many yards per game has he on average has he did in receiving?
I don't know, but he led the league.
Yeah, he had set the record. I think for most 100-yard games consecutively or something like that.
Not just that, he had multiple games with multiple touchdowns as well.
Kimmy, that was the best wide receiver this year in fantasy too.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
Comparing Puka stats, Puka has 10 more receptions than JSN. Targets wise, he has 6 more targets. He has made a few yards less, but Jason has more yards per reception. He has more, like 20-plus
Oh,
yard
let me see,
catches. They both have 10 touchdowns though. But Jason
Let me
has
put it
more
like
receptions
this,
over
though.
20
Hold
yards.
on. All right, so look, check this out. Check this out. And we going on average our average receiving yards per game. All right.
Why are you doing
So
it that way? You don't have to.
huh?
I mean, go ahead. I don't let me stop.
No. I'm just gonna say this, and like this is why I said like this is why I said I feel like Puka low key deserve it because one, well, mind you, Puka. All right, to start this off, all right. So he had 130 yards against Houston back in September, mind you. All right, cool. Texas wasn't doing good that bad. All right, you don't believe me? Cool. All right,
How many yards?
he had 100. Huh?
How many yards did Jay saying? Because we played both of them.
I know. He had 123. And that was during October 20th. So this is when was the Texans would start kind of make
Let's
their
see,
buzz.
September 7th, right. Puka had 10 receptions, 130, no touchdowns. That was his stats for that Texans game.
All right. Mind you though. All right. It's the same Puka against Indiana Colts around back September 28th. So this is when Colts was still up there.
They had one of the worst though, bro.
I mean, they have nearly identical stats, so like it's really hard to tell. I mean, I would say if Puka would not have missed that one game, he would be bona fide offensive rookie of the year. Just because like right now they have like similar stats.
I'll say this though, the stat that I feel like he deserves it most is two games. One against the Detroit Lions and the second one against the Seattle Seahawks. Back in December 18th.
You mentioned the Detroit Lions, like the Lions secondary just ain't burnt toast back there.
Yeah, that part.
I mean, it wasn't, but I mean, we could also.
But also, arguing this, like, say you got Seattle and the Rams both in the red zone.
Because I can also say
Los Angeles has two targets they can go to in the red zone. You got Puka and you got Devontae. With the Seahawks, your only receiving option is JSN.
Hold on. But I can also say this too. Because JSN, mind you, the Panthers, he only had 72 yards against the Panthers, which really, we could also say the same thing about the Panthers.
The Rams lost to the Panthers too.
Yeah, the Rams lost to the Panthers too.
I mean, they did, but if you also going against Detroit, because if you're going to kind of go off of that, both Detroit and the Panthers secondaries are kind of like
secondaries a lot better than Detroit's. I will tell you that right now.
I'm gonna tell you what it is, bro. JSN is more productive. The numbers say that. This is why Puka gets put in this conversation. Quite frankly, Puka makes it look better. He has better catches. He has more highlights. He makes it look sexier, if that makes sense. But if you really look at the production, JSN outperforms him. But Puka has the crazy catches. He'll give you the one-hand catches, and I get all of that plays apart. But if you're going purely off of who has the most productive season and who is the better receiver this season, it's kind of hard to argue against JSN.
Actually, I got you the reason right here. Puka is in a more pass-heavy offense. JSN is in a more run-heavy offense.
I was about to go there, bro. And you got to consider the fact that Puka has a Devontae Adams on the other side of the ball with him. That opens so many opportunities that JSN just, quite frankly, does not have, bro.
And you also got
more double teams and coverage cheated his way than Puka.
Exactly.
And Stafford's.
That's what on the bandwagon.
Like you look at Matthew Stafford and his wide receiver ones.
JSN every time.
And you have like Matthew Stafford, who's like has a history of known like feeding his wide receiver ones. Like look at Calvin Johnson, career year. Who else? Cooper Kupp, career year. Puka, like I think the year before, career year.
I mean, cause we could also say about Derek Young and Rashid Shaheed. They some cold receivers too.
Shaheed was a special teamer. He had like a few plays on offense for the Seahawks. But he was more of the special teamer. He wasn't even there
on the season. He got traded mid-season. Before he got there, JSN was already balling.
And don't forget that the Seahawks traded Metcalf before the season started, so they were all in. They knew who JSN was going to be, bro. They got rid of Metcalf. just for JSN, like to make it
It's
all about
this,
JSN.
Chris. If you're a defensive coordinator, would you rather have to guard just JSN and find a game plan to slow him down, or would you have to rather be the one that have to figure out how to slow down Devontae Adams and Puka? Because one is way harder than the other.
I mean, that's true. You know,
And
I
neither
would
of
say
them
this though.
are making
But
random plays.
that's what the reality is, and in that reality, one still produced. He still had better numbers than Puka, is what I'm saying. In that reality,
Mm-hmm. Okay. You make a precise case. You make a precise case. So, but I would say this though. I would say this. Both is very debatable. Yes, but I would say this, and this is not me going all based off. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use it. Is because to be offensive player of the year, you know, you do yes, you have to be consistent, but you also have to be good and clutch.
he's is
Who,
clutch. I think you're arguing of who's the better receiver versus
no,
who's the
no,
offense.
no. No, I'm arguing over the of who deserves offensive MVP. You know,
Let me ask you
I'm
this, because this is what I just told Simon, Mike, right, like literally seconds before you joined on. When
okay.
the season, in the first half of the season, there were two people that you thought would go up for Offensive Player of the Year. It was Jonathan Taylor and JSN. Is that not true?
True.
Jonathan
Ain't gonna
Taylor
lie.
was
Jonathan
leading at
Taylor,
the time,
you
and
was
he fell
leading.
off. JSN has been consistent this whole time. Puka made his case later in the season, and that's cool. But you got to go with the guy that was doing it from week one throughout the entire season.
Okay. Okay. All right, but all right. So if we had to say that though, if we had to say that, all right. If that was the case, I would say this though. Yes, you're right. You're not 100% wrong. You're not wrong. But I will also say the case on that. Like, do you think people from previous seasons kind of got snub off from
We're not
offensive
talking about previous seasons,
I know,
though,
no, no,
bro.
I know. But I'm just saying that though because some players from previous seasons have won offensive player of the year, just even without the consistency though.
I mean, who?
Okay, but it's Chris, when you combine the consistency with the fact that he's leading in stats while having more coverage rolled his way, more attention directed to him, like you combine all of those aspects with the fact that he hasn't missed a game this year, all of
That
those
part.
Mm-hmm.
combine to like make a lot low key. Like that all you combine all of those and that's what gives Jason the edge over people.
Because
Okay.
like I said, bro, and I said this before you joined. I'm gonna say it again, bro. I will concede Puka is the better receiver, and but that's not the question that we're answering right now. But if I have to draft between the two, I'm picking Puka over JSN. I concede that. But if you ask me who has the better season, who should win the offensive player of the year, you kind of have to go with JSN because he's been doing it since day one.
Okay, but not just okay. I see what you're talking about. But I will say this though, just to answer your question on who from previous seasons. To me personally, I feel like Lamar Jackson should have won Offensive Player of the Year last year, but they gave it to Saquon Barkley strictly for the fact it was the hype built around
Saquon,
him.
Saquon deserved that more than
yards.
that man had like
First
2,000
off,
yards, almost a chance to break the record.
I mean, it was though. I was
that's
though. But hold on, though, hold on.
MVP,
But this is my
Chris,
case
not
though.
offensive player of the year.
This my case though. This my case though. This my case. This my case.
I get where you
Like,
coming
all right.
from because Lamar went 41-4. You're not as crazy as you sound, but I think you're thinking of this in hindsight. Go back to last season and at the end of the season. That was not the conversation at all. We knew Saquon deserved that bitch. Like when he got that award, nobody said shit because you understood what that man had just did that season.
I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I feel like this is a
Yeah.
little bit hindsight bias because it's like you're looking back at it and you're looking at the numbers and cool. Because I get where you're coming from. Lamar had his best statistical season last year. I think you would have a better case saying Lamar should have won MVP though than saying he should have won Offensive Player of the Year over Saquon. Because
'Cause you gotta
Saquon
think,
deserved that award outright.
you,
Saquon
you
low
gotta,
key could have been in the MVP conversation his damn self.
He was in the
yeah,
MVP
yeah, he's on
conversation,
the
but
second
MVP has just become more of a QB award than anything.
Exactly.
That's what I was gonna say. Like QBs, they get MVPs. Like other positions can get it, but they gotta break crazy records that year to be able to get MVP, and they still probably won't get it. So like, offensive player of the year is for all positions but quarterback, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. But I mean, if you go on all positions too, if you're going all positions too, I can't also say, and this may sound crazy, may not. I could also put Derrick Henry into that too.
What
So if
last
you
Now,
year?
look at
honestly,
that, well,
I think we need to have offensive player of the year, but then we need to a player position
We need
best player.
we
you know
need
what?
position
The hell
awards.
with it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
hold on.
I
Who's the
mean,
other receiver?
technically they do. That's kind of the whole point of All Pro and the Pro Bowls. Like that's what those
But
things are for, to highlight
but with
who is the best at these positions.
but
I
that's
think he
per
means
conference.
I think
So
what
we're talking about
Simon
one for
means
the entire
more
league.
I think Simon more means who's the number one QB in the league, number one RB receiver, and so forth.
Is that
Like if
not
you're
what
gonna
All
build,
Pro is?
but they're separated between two teams. Like if you're gonna build one team, one starting lineup, what players will be on that?
First, no, I'm not. What I'm saying is like there is a distinct difference between first team All Pro and second team All Pro. There are people who are upset when they're second team All Pro because they feel like they should have been first team. It's no different than like All NBA in the NBA. The first
Okay, hang on.
team is
Yeah.
us saying for sure this guy was the best at this position this year.
Okay,
Obviously,
I'm
And they do
following that.
get
Okay,
they
I forgot about
they
that.
do get a little award with that hoe too. Like they get like a glass award. Like they put that shit in a trophy case when they are first team All Pro, and that shit says first team All Pro.
Okay. I forgot it was set up like that. Yeah, that's a really good point. Because first team All Pro, you're the starters on the All Pro team. So yeah, I forgot about that.
And you get the Pro Bowl nod and all of that shit too. Like they basically do that. Now these awards, MVP is a quarterback award. We know that. The offensive player award goes to the person on offense who's not a quarterback that had the best season.
Yeah.
Last year that was Saquon, and I feel like this year that's JSN. Now, if Puka wins once again, kind of like the Drake made Matt Stafford shit, I would not be mad at that, and he will be all deserving. But if I had a vote, JSN is getting my vote.
All right. So based off of everything we said, my prediction for the three big awards is Stafford MVP, JSN, OPY, and then I'm gonna have to say Vrabel for Coach of the Year at that point because I feel like you can't leave the Patriots without an MVP or Coach of the Year award. Like as good as they've done, they've exceeded expectations. Like they have to get one of those awards. I feel like.
I ain't gonna lie.
Vrabel turned a 3-13 Patriots team to a 13-3 Patriots team.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real, and I can't believe I'm saying this. You know what? And I will say this because it's about to make T very happy. The person who really, I feel like the person who really deserved Coach of the Year is Nico Collins. To me personally.
Nico Collins, the wide receiver that has been hurt.
D'Amico Ryan. Sorry.
I'm gonna keep the man with
Nico. Man said Nico Collins,
yes.
the wide receiver for the Houston Texans.
I ain't gonna lie. You know what I meant. You know who the hell I meant.
I'm gonna tell you why he can't.
If Stephen A. can say Charlie Kirk,
you know what? I know where you're going. Don't do that. But I'm gonna tell you why D'Amico doesn't get it because of the starting point and the expectations coming into this year. Like we're right back where we were last year. We made the playoffs and all of that. The Patriots weren't nowhere near there, and nobody really even took them serious this year as far as competing. We knew they had a chance to be good, but they were like a game away from being the number one seed in the AFC. If anything, I think the dude from Seattle has a chance, and like maybe a distant third, maybe like Sean Payton. But the reason Sean Payton would be difficult is just I don't know, like
I'll say
kind of
this.
the same thing I said with
Sean
D'Amico,
Payton,
because
Sean Payton is in the running, but for Coach of the Year, it's a variable. Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Liam Cohen, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean Payton.
Ben fucking
Kyle
Johnson
Shanahan,
probably should be more so than anybody else.
I want to say Kyle Shanahan for the simple fact Kyle Shanahan has shown proof. Has shown proven times why. Like, 'cause one, Kyle Shanahan can lead 49ers into the playoffs. And I would say this, if you're going to say that, then it's safe to say that we should put D'Amico Ryan in that top.
I'm not saying
I'm taking Sean Payton over Kyle Shanahan every day of the week and twice on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Chris, so the reason, like, one big reason why you can't say D'Amico Ryans is CJ Stroud. You cannot have a coach be up for Coach of the Year and your quarterback's been trying to lose games all season.
Yep. That's leading into our next topic too.
Don't do that, sir.
I thought that. I'll say this. If I could also say the complete opposite though, because yes, CJ Stroud was playing trash, but then you have his backup, who he developed, who got to Texas to where the hell they was.
Hey,
if that itself,
your stove must be on because you cooking right now.
But I just say this: if that scenario right there doesn't put D'Amico Ryan into Coach of the Year, where he can develop not one but his backup, where all people was already doubting Mills at first, that's Coach of the Year itself.
So okay, this
but
in
my opinion, like CJ Stroud has regressed every season since his rookie year. Like year 3, he regressed again.
Time out. So Davis Mills, you got to remember, Davis Mills was like their starter for a bit. He was drafted. He's been with the Texans for a bit. But he's been developing for a while. So
not under D'Amico though. He was the starter before D'Amico got there, and was a whole nother offensive system.
Yeah, so like what I'm saying is he's been in the league for a while. He's had a good time to develop. So like you can't really like. But
Jacoby's been in the league for a minute.
But like with the way so what I'm saying is like Davis Mills is a good backup quarterback. You're not gonna like no team's gonna be looking at him as a starter right now.
I'm gonna keep it a band with you. Nobody called him that until this year though.
But my thing is also when you look at the way CJ Stroud played, you could honestly say Davis Mills looked like a better quarterback in a couple of games than CJ Stroud did in several games. So
I would say that's a very small sample size. Like those 3 games, the Davis Mills was a great game manager, but if you ask anybody who would you rather have leading the team, it's not even the question. Because we've seen Davis Mills in a full season stretch. No. Yeah. And Davis Mills, along with CJ Stroud, have the greatest defense this year. So, like, yeah, I mean, like, when you play Buffalo and you go out and set Josh Allen 8 times, it makes the job a little bit easier. But go back to the Denver game when CJ was low-key cooking in the first quarter and Davis Mills gets thrown in. What did he do that game? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of things that go into that.
CJ almost would have lost all that Bills game, given that if the Texans defense was terrible, Bills honestly
I don't know about
the
that,
Texans.
Bro.
CJ was playing terrible. CJ has not been playing great at all.
I'm not CJ apologist by any stretch, but like it's the reason why he's our starter, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
But hey,
if you go back to that Bills game, I could show you 3 different plays where Davis Mills just outright missed touchdowns, and I can say CJ, I have confidence that he would hit them. I get where y'all coming from, bro, this is it's also looking recency because I know what he
Yeah,
just did Monday, but nah, bro, CJ
Yeah,
got started
so
for a reason.
it's okay. So do you think y'all's record would be the same if C.J. Stroud played in the games that Mills played in? Like,
Absolutely.
how many games different do you think it would be? Like, you think y'all would have an extra win or two? Like, how many wins extra?
I think it'll be the exact same. We went on a win streak as CJ went up. If you
Yeah.
go back to the season, go back
So
and
you
watch
think
the
y'all's record
40.
would be the same?
Yes, go back to the 40. We won. What you mean? That's what I'm saying. If you go back to the 49ers game this season, that was CJ Stroud's best game this season. And if you go back to the first quarter of the Denver game, he was playing that well. He goes out with a concussion and misses 3 games and comes back and just plays the game manager role because our defense took over. But if you
Yeah.
look, like he didn't have the worst season. Like I get what y'all saying with him regressing, but I also think CJ is a victim of his own success in that because he had such a great rookie season. He had,
Facts.
as a rookie, he didn't just have a great rookie season. He had a great season, period, for a quarterback. Most people do not do that, which is why we acknowledge it the way that we do. But who else
Okay.
did that? Jaden Daniels. And what did he do this year? Granted, he was hurt, but all I'm saying is, like, if you look at what CJ is doing, I'm not saying he's great by any stretch. I would say he's the weak link of our team. But given that, I
Facts.
still would take him as our starter.
No, okay. So like, you proved my point though with the whole thing of like, if C.J. Stroud was in, y'all would have won the same amount of games that Davis Mills won.
No, I'm
So
saying,
like,
like, let me put it
Davis
like
Mills was
this.
able to come in
I
and
get
like
what you're
not
saying,
hurt
right?
y'all.
No, what I'm saying is this though, because I think you're taking it as if Davis Mills. I'm not saying if Davis
Oh, I'm not
Mills
saying he should
starts
be
the
the
rest of the
starter.
season. Like if Davis Mills starts the rest of the season, I don't think we win as many games. That's what I'm saying.
No, definitely not. No, no. But I'm talking about the games that Davis Mills like filled in for CJ this year. Only the games that he started and filled in.
You
Like,
basically asked me, do I think we would have won those? And I'm saying, yeah.
Didn't
oh, I thought you were
didn't
okay. No,
y'all win those 3 games
I asked
already
if you would
too?
have like had the same like
That's what I'm
if y'all
saying.
would have
Like,
the same record. So you said
bro,
yes, y'all would have the same record.
we ended the season on like an 8 game winning streak,
Yeah,
including those games. So like, it's not much more wins you're gonna add to that. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I would say this too. I want to kind of just add a like an honorable mention too, and I was gonna add this too. I still feel like aside from D'Amico Ryan, I would also definitely say that Sean Payton does also should be in talks of Coach of the Year because not on hold on, just hear me out on this though. Hear me out because because he you can't say. Cause I can also say this. He literally coached up Bo Nix.
Bo
Yes,
Nix made the playoffs last year.
I mean he did, but for like twice
So
in a
Nick should
row
be
though,
here.
like for twice seasons in a row.
He also had the best defense. That's not really Bo Nix when you look at it.
Yeah, that
Not the
Denver
best,
defense.
like
The Denver defense has
one
won
of the
more
better
games than
defense.
the Denver offense has.
To
I'm
me,
gonna
Kyle
tell you this,
Shanahan
bro.
is the like best like alternative because what he's
No,
done
no,
for the
no, no,
years,
no.
all the injuries they've had, like he's the best like dark horse candidate. I think.
I I think the coaching race comes down to 2 people. I think it comes down to Mike
Okay.
Vrabel, who should win it, and then it comes down to fucking
Mhm.
Ben Johnson, bro. Because when you see what Ben Johnson did in Chicago, he didn't just turn that team around. He
I ain't
created
gonna
a
lie.
whole new
He
culture.
created a dynasty with them. With
See what I'm
them man.
saying?
Can't
And
I ain't
be.
so,
gonna lie.
like,
Not a
Now that you
dynasty.
said that, I ain't gonna lie.
You're not a dynasty if
But
you're
I ain't
not
gonna
winning
lie
Super
though.
Bowls.
But I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna
hey,
say. But I'll be a fool if I say that D'Amico Ryan shouldn't be in that runner up. Just for the simple
I
fact that
appreciate you
just for
acknowledging
the simple
that.
fact that he coached up not one but two. And yes Simon that he did do have experience and stuff. But for you to be able to not only coach one quarterback from a rookie, have them go to the playoffs,
Time
and
out.
then coach up,
Chill, though.
So are you saying that D'Amico Ryans is the person that is coaching C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills, not the quarterback coach who's the one spending majority of the time with them working on their technique? Like, if anything, you should be giving credit to D'Amico Ryans for bringing the quarterback coach onto his staff
I mean, I can
And
say
having
that
a
too.
good quarterback coach.
If I'm also not mistaken, D'Amico Ryans is a more defensive heavy coach than
Yeah.
an offensive heavy
He
coach.
is.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Hold
Nice.
on.
Is. And this year,
That's why the defense is so good.
ironically, this year he gave up defensive play calling to our defensive coordinator. Like he's not even calling the defense this year. I
Ever
love
since
Chris's
Houston,
take,
y'all
and
had a good defense.
I love Chris's take, but I can't in good conscience say D'Amico can get that. He didn't come on until you don't get to start 0-3 and then do that. Like if I'm gonna be consistent in what I've been saying, you have to be consistent throughout the entirety of the season.
But okay, in a sense, I feel like that starting out 0-3 honestly kind of adds to his case because how many teams, most teams that start off 0-3 don't make playoffs. He made playoffs. Like he turned the team around and got them competing. Like that's a big change in season.
That got me arguing against my own coach, bro. I love that man.
I mean, that kind of like brings up the times like I think like beginning that 2017 draft class for the Saints. I mean, they started like either like 1-2 or 0-3, and they like I think like the next 2-3 seasons, Sean Payton wasn't even running for coach of the year at the time, so it kind of like makes sense why D'Amico's not in it either.
I'm gonna tell you another reason why D'Amico can't win Coach of the Year this year. This is me being just objective as a Texans fan. I love them, but there have been too many situations where we've gotten conservative, and there's too many situations that we've just straight up mismanaged keeping teams alive in games. The Bills game, they damn near came back and won, and it was in large part in some of the decisions that were made at the end of the game. And there's a few different games like that this year. Like, we won, thank God, and we'll take the W. But nah, bro, it's too many coaches out here that have been balling out and, like, basically did what D'Amico did his first year this year that I think are far more deserving of him. As much as I love him, as my coach, you know what I'm saying? You got me arguing against this man. I don't think he's in running this year.
Okay. I mean, you're right.
And also just comparing like the two coaches that are like first year like head coaches of the teams, like Vrabel and Johnson.
Bro.
Johnson, yeah. Like
that's two coaches that's turned both their teams around
within their first year. Yeah, when you look at what they like, it's their first year, and look at their record. It's way better than the Texans' record. So like that's a big kind of thing too. And Ben Johnson, this is his like first. He's a rookie head coach, right? This is like he's never been a head coach before, right, in the NFL. So I feel like honestly that kind of adds. Yeah, that kind of adds to his case and gives him a leg up on Vrabel almost.
I think if you wanted to give D'Amico Ryans Coach of the Year, you would have to go back to CJ's rookie year. That's the year he should have won it. This year, no.
Yeah, facts.
Nah, man.
All right, so head coach of the year. We're all like, are we all kind of mostly?
I think Mike
Vrabel.
Yeah,
I think Vrabel. Ben Johnson has an honorable mention though.
All right, so speaking of Vrabel and the Texans,
yeah, we got.
How do you think this game's gonna go?
I'm kind of leaning more towards the Texans. I'm kind of leaning more towards the Texans because, like, every time I've seen like Drake May even play like a solid defense, like I would say like more so like middle of the pack, higher, get into those like top 15 defenses. That's where he kind of like struggled. And Drake May also really isn't that battle tested because really and truly the only time May was really battle tested was the second game against the Bills. That was it.
I'm leaning Texans just because of the defense.
Yeah.
But the main thing with that game is really got to depend on how well CJ Stroud plays that game.
That's exactly what I was going.
But okay, I'm hoping CJ Stroud learned a lesson last game of don't do dumb shit in the pocket, and so like your defense is gonna carry you. As long as you don't turn the ball over and do dumb shit, you'll be fine. Like y'all.
Let me tell you this, bro. As bad as he played, people gotta realize CJ in his 3 years has only had 3 games like this. So like I get how bad he played, but it is a bit of an aberration when you look at him in totality. If you also consider the fact that like the Texans led the league in protecting the ball as well. Like we had, yeah, like we led the league in that statistic this year. So I don't think that's something we're gonna have to worry about as much. I do think that he is like the key because our defense is gonna be our defense. But you can't win a game 0-0, and you can't depend on the defense getting you 2 touchdowns, even though they've shown that they're capable of that. My only caveats are we're playing on the road. Like Foxborough isn't the easiest place to play in the playoffs, and they have a great defense as well. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, I'm a Texas fan, so I think y'all all know where I'm gonna lean with this one. But I will say I do have my reservations, both with CJ and just the Patriots playing at home. If we were here, oh, it wouldn't even be a question. But that plays a part to me as well.
So the biggest thing from like the Steelers game with the Texans game, they were able to run the ball, and like championship teams can run the ball and play great defense.
Play defense,
So
absolutely.
as long as CJ can go in and manage the game, I think the Texans are going to be fine. But it's dependent on the run game being there and CJ not turning the ball over. If Texans are doing those two things and the defense is still doing it, I honestly, Texans is a Super Bowl team. Like I think they could win it potentially at that point.
Here's my other problem. As great as our defense is, and we witnessed this in person, me, you, and Chris. If we have an Achilles heel,
Baker.
it's letting QBs get out of that pocket and take off. And if it's something that Drake May has shown he will do this year, if you give him the opportunity, he toting that bitch. So if it's third and, well, the biggest thing we're gonna have to do is keep them in third and long. Because if it's third and 3, he's gonna kill us with that shit all night. You put him in third and long situations, we're gonna be straight. And I think we're capable of that. I think we have a good shot of winning this. And if we win this, I think we have
it's gonna be out of the Bills and Broncos.
Yeah.
Who we got out of Bills and Broncos?
Bills and Broncos, I got Bills. Yeah. Just because you got Superman out there, man. And I'm not going to pick against him until I see him get beat. Real talk.
Yeah, even though Josh Allen's only working with 3 receivers, 2 of them not even like one receiver being a wide receiver 1. It's really going to be his tight ends that's going to make a difference, and James Cook. But again, yeah, I'm going with the Bills. Playoff Josh Allen is probably one of the best QBs out there. Like, statistically, Josh Allen is at his best in the playoffs.
Josh Allen is the best player left in the playoffs, regardless of conference and team. If you had a draft of all the players that are left in the playoffs, he will go number 1. That ain't even a question.
My only thing, think about this. So, say the game for the Bills goes just like it did last week against the Jags. Instead of having Trevor Lawrence dropping back to try and make a game-winning drive or send the game into overtime, you have Bo Nix with Cortland Sutton and Franklin. Like, do you think Bo Nix is going to be able to at least send the game in overtime or, like, potentially score on that drive on the Bills' defense? Because that game...
I'm gonna straddle the fence just a little bit there, and it's probably not the best thing to do. Let me say, I think he's capable, but I don't know for sure if it'll happen. And this is why I say that. He's shown both things. Like, he's shown an ability to be clutch, but he's also shown to be sporadic in certain moments as well. And, even though Bo Nix played last year in the playoffs, I don't think he's played a game of this magnitude. Like, real shit, no disrespect to Bo Nix, but this might legit be the biggest game of his career so far, both, NFL and college. So we haven't seen him in this setting, but when it comes to Josh Allen, we've seen him in this setting and then some. And what we know about Josh Allen is he plays his best in these moments, not his worst.
And kind of like the thing with Josh Allen, you're at the point, because again, we said this like in previous episodes, you ain't got Pat Mahomes in the playoffs no more. You don't got Joe Burrow in the playoffs. This is like wide open. This is like potentially like your only shot to get to the promised land and take it all home.
No bullshit. And if you think Josh Allen isn't thinking about that shit, bro, he has to be. He has to know, like, this is my year, and I'll be damned if I let
When the,
somebody else take this from me.
and the team's probably thinking that way too. Like, man, we don't have to go through the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Ravens. Like, finally, for once, we don't have to go through the teams that's knocked us out in the past.
And if you're the Bills, you have to look at it on the flip. You get the winner of the Texans, and Patriots. Now,
Man,
granted, they didn't
Yeah,
look the best against us, but they damn near had a chance to win that game. And Keon Coleman didn't play that game, so you got to feel like they would think they could beat us, and then they were already beating the Patriots. So if you're them, you're looking at it from the standpoint of if we win this game, we can pretty much see us like a line, a road to the Super Bowl. Like, so now they gonna go out there and give it everything.
it's still a tough decision, but ultimately, like last week, I couldn't pick against Josh Allen, and I feel like I can't again. I think they're gonna have plenty of fresh crack lined up or like in the locker room, ready for him to go. Because that dude's gonna be taking a beating again. Like they're gonna need something for him.
yeah, I'm not
They're
picking.
gonna have horse
I'm
muscle
not
back
picking
there for
against
him.
Superman just because Superman's kryptonite is not here this year.
Chris,
Uh,
who you got? Because I don't think we heard you in that game.
Hmm. Ain't gonna lie, this gonna be kind of hard.
Dude, I'm telling you,
But if you have to
like
pick
Josh
somebody,
Allen's the only thing making me think Bills.
gun to your head, you got 3 seconds. Who you pick? You did.
I said,
Yeah, that man
I said, I
did.
said, I ain't gonna. The reason why it's hard because, like, bro, it's like, so I have to say, my heart want to say Bills though.
Yeah, I want to say Broncos, huh?
Yeah, my heart wants to say
Yes,
Broncos, but my mind's
because
thinking
look, because
Bills.
I say this, it's a lot more at stake for the Bills. For the simple fact, it's like, hey, Josh Allen, this is your window is like literally thin closing. It's like, bro, the Chiefs is out, the Ravens is out, the Patriots. I feel like you can beat them. I feel like are you like you have Drake May? Yes, you have those QB, but you are familiar with the playoffs. You know what's at stake. It's like,
Mhm.
bro, these are and like the Broncos. It's fairly new. Yes, they are cold, but it's like you know what's at stake. You know what it's like to have crunch time playoff games. So it's like, bro, you know this for like the back of your hand. And so I'm looking at Josh Allen. It's like, bro, if you do not get this, this is your if there's a perfect time where you need a ring, and this is the perfect time where it's like nobody's stopping you, it is now. I will say this though. Do I feel like is it gonna be hard? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Cause
Broncos ain't going out like no bitch.
now they ain't gonna go out there like no bitch. Now don't get me wrong though, but I ain't
I
gonna
will
lie though,
say
it's not
Denver
gonna.
is coming off that bye week too.
Sure.
Oh, that's a good
It is.
point.
It is. But also Denver also know what's at stake too. And I know and I know Sean Payton know good and well what it takes to be in these type of scenarios. So I already know that he's gonna coach up Bo Nix, and he's gonna coach up the offense to let them know like, hey, this is what you need to be done.
So
Oh
let me
yeah,
ask you
as a
this.
Cowboys fan, I
I'm
want the
gonna say
Broncos
this.
to lose
So I'm gonna
so
say
we can
this.
hurry up and hire their DC.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Realistically speaking, I really want the Bills to win. So I think the Bills gonna win for just for the simple fact they know what it is, they know what they have to do, and like I said, this is this their window. If they don't get it now, they probably never get it. I fear that Josh Allen is going to be the Aaron Rodgers of the Bills if he don't win this Super Bowl, and that's at least for my at least in my time at least around at least for the like next 5 years to me
I wouldn't
personally.
even say like. I mean, yeah, you can kind of compare Josh Allen to Aaron Rodgers, but I would say he would be more that Phillip Rivers kind of QB in
Yeah,
like that situation.
I
Aaron
feel
True,
like it's
Rodgers
still
true.
had a
too early
ring.
to like. I feel like it's almost still too early to say something like that because Josh Allen still has like a lot of time left.
Yeah, I think he's
He got
what
a lot of
I
time.
feel
like
like I feel
29
like
or
we can't
30.
label him on like I feel like we can't label him though like
I feel
Yes,
like
he do.
Josh Allen at least has
Yes,
another
he do.
decade.
But this is why I say that. This is why I say this, Simon. Each like he had plenty of weapons from the previous seasons that he could have used that could have took him to the that could have took him to the championship. Only person that stood in his way, literally, mind you, he took down the Ravens each fucking time, and Ravens had fellow fucking weapons to go to the Super Bowl. Like he got snubbed. Like Lamar Jackson got beat every time, but he always lose to Pat Mahomes in the championship, which we know. And it's like, bro, you took like the Ravens is done. You took the Ravens is done. Pat Mahomes is done. Like literally, you know exactly what you need to do. This is like your perfect time to get into the champion. At the very most, the championship. At the very most, at the Super Bowl. You know.
I agree. I agree with you because if you would have started at the beginning of the season, if you would have told us the final four teams in the AFC and told me that the Bills were one of them and the Ravens and Chiefs weren't, you're automatically going to say, well, the Bills are going to make the Super Bowl. Now, granted, we've seen how the season played out, and we know that that's not a foregone conclusion. But like I said, I'm gonna pick Josh Allen until I see somebody beat him.
I will predict that
So,
this
okay.
game is probably gonna be game of the year.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
facts.
Absolutely.
All right,
No,
so
my thing
what
is-
about the
Oh, yeah, go
What
ahead.
about the
49ers Seahawks.
yeah?
Seahawks. Just because Kittle's not playing. Like if Kittle was playing, I'd have to think about that. But yeah, Seahawks.
I think the other NFC game is the one that's a little bit more interesting.
Rams Bears.
Bears, yeah, 'cause that one is kind of like that's a little bit of a toss up, bro. Because I could see both sides of who could win. Like with the Rams, the Bears don't have a great defense, but they do have an opportunistic defense to where they can cause turnovers. On the flip side, Caleb Williams has been like fucking balling. So like, I feel like that one's gonna end up being a shootout, bro.
I will say, like Bears and Rams, if Caleb Williams plays how he did against the Packers again against the Rams, you can go ahead and kiss the Bears going on to the next round goodbye.
So, T, what do you always say about like those close games? Teams that win like have to have a lot of comeback wins late in the fourth quarter during the regular season.
I get what you're saying.
So,
and I do think that that's going to catch up with them. So you're absolutely right on that.
And then like you combine that like with the fact that the Rams have a lot more playoff experience. This is Caleb Williams' first playoffs ever in the NFL. So I just don't see the Rams like, especially if they come out starting slow, and the Bears. If the Bears come out slow and the Rams like just do the Rams and put up points steadily, consistently, I really do not see the Bears being able to have another comeback win.
I don't see the Bears pulling what they did against the Packers to the Rams if that happens again. I just don't see that happening.
And I feel like if the Packers-Bears wasn't a divisional matchup, it potentially would have went differently. But since that's a divisional game, those games, you never know which way they're going to swing. You can have a team that's competing for the number one overall pick and a team that's competing for the Super Bowl, but the team that's competing for a number one overall pick wins that game. Like that's just the divisional aspect. So that's really, I'm definitely thinking Rams. Like to me, it's not much of a question on that.
It's definitely gonna come.
It's gonna be a good game though.
For the Super Bowl, I feel like it's definitely gonna be Seahawks Rams for the NFC title.
Oh yeah.
It's
just because I picked Rams at the beginning of the year for the Super Bowl, I gotta stick with them still. Kind of part of me wants to switch Seahawks, but I gotta stay true to my pick at the beginning of the year.
It's just for me, like in the AFC, it's just so wide open right now because like the Bills could either go on or the Broncos could go on. Same with like Texans Patriots. Texas can come out of that game on top, or the Patriots could game. It's basically like 50-50 with both those games.
Yeah, it is.
It's competitive.
Going back to the Seahawks 49ers real quick.
I honestly think this is where the 49ers come down. Those injuries are going to catch up to them this game.
I feel you. Sam Darnold, bro. What we were saying about Josh Allen applies just a little bit, bro, because I'm trying to tell you, you ain't never had a great playoff game. Granted, last year was your first time. So if you want to establish yourself as like a legit franchise QB, this is going to be that game to do that for you. Because I'm going to tell you this. That man go out there and throw 2 interceptions and they lose to the 49ers. I'm not trying to hear that shit no more, man.
Oh yeah, people still remember him seeing Ghost. Like he wins this game and has a good outing. I think that will like help people forget that he was.
It's not even just what he did with the Jets when he was seeing ghosts, but it's what he did last year, bro. You go 14-2, and you
Oh
lose the
yeah,
last game of the season to win a division, and then you lose in the wild card round as well. I've never forgiven him for that, and like I'm feeling like the same thing has a chance to happen. And when you really think about Kyle Shanahan versus the Seahawks coach, like I think that game is going to be far closer than people think, especially considering what happened the last time they played. I know the Seahawks won, but that one came down to the wire. So, like, we're going to see.
it's also it's a divisional
Yeah,
game. So like you
yeah,
tell like the game ends and you tell me the Niners won, I'm not gonna be surprised. It's the third time they played each other this season,
yeah.
and with all the injuries, like the Niners have a completely different game plan that you've seen because they got to adapt to not having certain players again.
And don't sleep
So yeah,
on
no, it's
they still got C-Mac back there, too, bro. Like, if you ask me who's going to win, I'm going to tell you the Seahawks. I get that. But I always have that voice in my head of, like, even though I think a team is going to win, can I see a route like or a path where they lose? And I definitely see one with that game.
the Seahawks are also coming off the bye too. So you're talking about a divisional matchup. One team coming off of a bye could start slow, and then like you got a team that's just came off of a close game, kind of that's like also still like could be very highly motivated to go win a game for Kittle. In the first game, he has like missed. So
I will say the
who knows?
Seahawks game plan for the 49ers game, their defensive game plan should be stop CMC. That's it. That's all they really have. If you can stop CMC,
Brock Purdy win the game.
you have to make you pretty much like first force Purdy to be a QB that really and truly, I don't think he's like an elite QB either.
That's facts. But, hey, man, everybody say that shit. It's hard as fuck to stop that, man.
I feel like he benefits a lot from the players around him and Kyle Shanahan, but at the same time, he does make hella good plays. So
And, like,
some of the plays he makes, I'm like,
I'm gonna say this and like legit, like I mean this like genuinely. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was George Kittle necessarily having a great year this year? And the reason I bring that up is because if he wasn't, like I think the name sticks out to us, but I don't know how much that really affects the production of the 49ers offense.
so you're thinking about the passing game though. Kittle is a really good run blocker.
Yeah, like
So
Kittle's
you're
the
not-
best run blocking tight end in the league.
I get that part, I do. But like what I'm saying is, I don't like if the dude could come in and approximate it. I don't know if they fall off that much, bro.
So
I mean,
got a
Kittle
question.
he had an about average season for a tight end.
What do you
Going into
have?
this game,
Kittle's stats were 57 receptions, 628 yards, 7 touchdowns.
And where did that rank for tight ends? Does it say?
I
It's
got
not
two things
done
about
right
this.
now.
I got two things about this. So we got to think about the injuries the 49ers have had to receiver and the talent they have at receiver. Kittle is like defenses are gonna like key in on Kittle a little bit more than they have in the past. But also think like answer this. As a DC, if you're the Seahawks DC coming into this game, are you necessarily like thinking about that fake screen to Kittle with the screen out the back to McCaffrey or any like tight end screens to Kittle? You're not necessarily game planning and worrying about that so much anymore. At least me.
Kittle was
Hear
in
what
the
you're
top.
saying.
Kittle was in the top 15 for receiving yards for tight ends.
Yeah, so like it's literally like average. Not just that,
Kittle
but
was at
bro,
number 12.
last week I watched fucking Juwan Jennings throw a touchdown to TMC. And what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like if you look at how they produce their points, George Kittle isn't a huge part of that. I get the blocking aspect, and that is a big, huge blow to that.
It's
But I
also the
think,
clutch plays, though. It's also the catches that he does make. So like, he'll make a lot of third down conversions. Like, hey, we need this yard, we need this touchdown. He makes a lot of catches like that. So like that also kind of like is like why his yardage isn't so high. Partly because he makes a lot of those conversions and clutch plays.
Kittle
I'm not
does
trying
also
to say
has
they're
like a
not gonna
decent
do
target
that.
share too. It's at 21.5%.
All I'm saying, bro, is this isn't the same as if they lost CMC. Like I think their offense
Yeah.
could still be very, like very, very productive with him out of the lineup.
No, I agree.
Particularly when you have an offense that's kind of like been in the situation of dealing with injuries. Like that team has always had to play with an injury. So I feel like if any team can overcome one, it would be the fucking 49ers because they've done it so much
So,
in the past.
but my thing is also you got to think about personnel. So like a lot, especially with how like Kyle Shanahan loves to marry the run game with the pass game, make plays look the exact same. So
Yeah, but
like Kittle is one of the best blocking and pass catching tight ends. And so now all of a sudden you're having to go to a tight end. Like you may have a tight end that's like not the greatest at passing, like in the pass game, but he's a really good run blocking tight end. Then you may have a tight end that's like really good at passing, but not great at running. So like you're having to change out your personnel more, and it kind of makes you a little bit more predictable too. Also, so from that standpoint,
it depends because if you got a Kyle Shanahan, I think he would be the guy that can figure that shit out.
he's got to. But like
he will. He will.
to me, that's like you're also like, but your offense is kind of taking a step down from what it was, though. Not saying he can't be like productive and a good offense, but it is like taking a hit in that stance, though.
Let me buffer this in what I'm saying because I think I said it the wrong way. Let me not say they won't take a hit, but I think they could still be productive enough to win that game without him.
Oh yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, let me not act like it's not a blow because it most definitely is. But I can see Brock Purdy still going out there and throwing to Juwan Jennings and CMC going for 120 rushing yards, damn near 200 all-purpose yards, some shit like that, and they win that game. Like, I think that's still a strong possibility.
I can see that. No, I definitely can see it.
Saying even though with the amount of injuries, they still have enough talent around them to be at least productive and making a competitive game.
And to your point, it's a divisional game, so like it actually kind of plays in their favor in that situation. It works both ways. I do get that, but like if it's a defense you want to go to in that type of situation, it would be one that you played twice already. So like I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan could come up with a game plan where they can still get the ball rolling. The thing about the 49ers is they have to strike early in that game. The 49ers go out and score a touchdown and like on their first two possessions or go up 10-3 or some shit, that puts pressure on Sam Darnold, and that's when I think shit starts to happen. And if that happens, I could see the 49ers winning that game.
No, because I could see the 49ers being able to like limit JSN's production better than any other team. If you can limit JSN, all of a sudden Darnold's having to look other way, like elsewhere, and that's when you can start slipping better at that point.
If we're talking about the 49ers defensive injuries, I think that has a bigger impact than George Kittle. Like Fred Warner not being there or not being back, and then the other linebacker getting hurt. I think that hurts them more this game than George Kittle not being there.
Fred Warner's a game time decision.
Didn't they have a D lineman get hurt?
Nick Bosa.
Too?
Nick Bosa was out during the season.
Well, he's been out for the beginning of the season, but I was thinking last game. I thought they had an injury to their D line last game.
No idea. I didn't really pay too much attention to that game.
That's a 49ers. That should sound about right.
Yeah. No, but isn't I'm drawing a blank on the linebacker's name right now, but isn't he like supposed to, if they win this game, can't Fred Warner come back like next game?
Warner's a game time decision for this week.
Yeah, so low-key, he could play limited snaps. That'd be a big morale boost to the defense. Like,
it's a leader, bro, and like shit like that, man. Yeah, bro. Like,
especially after losing a leader and then you get one back, like that definitely helps balance it out.
And that's why I say I feel like I'm straddling the fence with this one because, like I said, I'm picking the Seahawks. Don't get me wrong, but I can definitely see a situation where 49ers win that game.
Oh yeah. Like,
Now,
I would be more surprised if you tell me the Bears win than if you tell me the 49ers won. I'll be
like
more surprised hearing the Bears win.
if the Seahawks on that 8 game, they'll win that shit. Got down 42-17, some crazy shit like that. So, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But if the 49ers have a game plan where they can keep that shit close and go or get up early on them, it gets very, very interesting. That's all I'm saying.
I will also say that is all the time we have for this week. We're a little over, but I mean, it's playoff times where times are juicy.
Absolutely.
Man, we didn't even touch on the Natty yet.
Quick, what's y'all picks?
For the Natty?
I think we
Indiana.
I think we all going Indiana. So I think we
Indiana.
Indiana. Well, Indiana.
Yeah, I don't think it's much
I'm
debate.
gonna say the same thing I said
Are we
last
already in the
time.
final two teams?
Yeah, Monday.
I'm saying this, man.
So
I'm
who
saying this
went
real
out of
quick.
Miami and what's it?
Miami.
Oh, Miami. Who they play again? I
Ole
never
Miss,
forgot.
Ole Miss.
Indiana.
No,
Oh,
Miami
you
played
talking
Ole
about for this
Miss.
game, for this coming game? They play Indiana for the championship, but before then they played.
So it's Miami versus Indiana.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's the over under? What's the spread on that?
I don't even know.
I'm gonna be honest though.
Look at that.
I want Indiana to win for many reasons, but I want Indiana to win for many reasons, but Miami, just because they've been in these situations before, they basically a college version of the Bills.
I will also say, like, if Miami does win, I also won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if they win, just because of how well that Miami defense has been playing.
Chris, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Miami is not Buffalo. Miami ain't been in the national championship conversation in 20 years, brother.
I know.
They also
All
just
the more
have,
reason why
they
they
also
need to
just have a
win.
new head coach. Like, their head coach, it's his first season with Miami. So you're talking about a new program being built versus an established program.
Indiana got that.
You're also talking about Indiana, a team last year that almost beat Ohio State and felt like they could have won and probably should have won last year, the Natty, or at least went to it. So you're talking about a team that's hungry, that really had a chance last season. So
I'm gonna be real. Miami
I'm
hungry.
sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to do that because we were supposed to be closing out the show, but I was like, man, I think,
I mean, we had time.
yeah.
Miami hungry though. So I'll be saying this. Don't be surprised if they win, but I love to see Indiana, another school, get there.
Yeah,
I
would not be surprised if Miami wins, but I'm going with Indiana.
I get
Yeah.
Miami hungry, Chris, but in the words of Malcolm X, that brother starving.
Chris, I think the game's gonna go like this. It's gonna be a close game, but Indiana's gonna, like, if you watch the game and like throughout the whole time, it's gonna be a good game, but the whole time, like, Indiana's kind of just dominating. Like, they're staying up for the most part, or they're just kind of, for the most part, they're dominating. You're kind of wondering how Miami's still in the game. I feel like it's gonna be one of those type of games.
Oh, it is. It is.
But at the same time, Miami, like, if you're in that situation, you got a chance to win. So I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow pulled it off. But definitely Indiana.
Alright, y'all. I would say this was probably the most entertaining episode this week. We'll definitely be back next week with more playoff football with our results. Still going with the Bills.
Oh man, don't tell the people. Don't forget to like and subscribe our shit, man.
And
Yeah, like, subscribe, share the video with all your friends.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and we will catch y'all next week.
All right, y'all.